Hello everyone, Kent.Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, podcast endorsed and sponsored by kidneysolutions.org.
Hello, everybody. This is Kent.Bressler, and I'm back for another podcast, and I've got a great guest who is looking for a living kidney donor. We're going to talk to him in just a minute. So before we get started, as per usual, let's have a solemn prayer. Let's talk to the Lord. Let's bring him into this picture. I know he's listening, so let's get him involved. Dear Lord, help us remember what a difference it makes when we make time with you. Awaken us in body and spirit each day with a desire to meet with you and to hear you speak the words of affirmation, words of assurance, and with your wisdom over our heart. We prepare to go into our day, and we ask, Lord, that you send that donor for Martin. You know his needs. You know his wants, you know his heart, and you know where he's coming from. We're just asking for you to intercede on his behalf as soon as you possibly can. We ask this all in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, first of all, I just want to take a moment to talk to everyone about how important it is to have a plan of activity and exercise. God gave us this wonderful environment and our wonderful bodies. And in doing so, I believe he's wanting us to do everything possible to keep it fit. Movement that can graduate into an exercise program is essential. We know that. Being active, even when you don't feel like it. So here's the challenge. Whether you're on dialysis, whether you're looking for a kidney donor, or whether you've been transplanted, are you doing what you need to be doing to be in the best shape you can possibly be? I want to challenge you to start an exercise program today if you aren't already there. And the challenge is to just simply start walking. Begin slowly and build up, and that walking will put you where you need to be in your fitness journey. And it will help you all the way through this kidney journey. Okay? So that's where I'm at with it. And I want you to be there too. You got questions, give us a call at Kidney Solutions. You know the number, 830-285-2140. We're always here. Now, we may not pick up the phone right off, but I can tell you an email or text or whatever gets my attention nearly immediately. And I'll get back to you. It's no problem. Or one of my great volunteers will be more than happy to call you, respond to your queries, answer your questions, or just be a nice, calming mentor for you. So given that, I met a guy just a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago, actually, by the name of Martin Hughes. And he's our guest today. Martin's from New York City, believe it or not. And I've just kind of really gotten to like this guy. He's a dyed in the wool kidney patient, and he's gonna jump in here and talk to me this morning. And we're just gonna go over his needs, his wants, and we're gonna pick his brain because this is a man that's full of God-fearing intimacy with himself and with the world. And let me tell you what, I think you're going to enjoy this. Martin, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Ken. How you doing? I'm doing pretty well today.
I tell you, when I first saw you, you just look great.
Thank you so much.
Isn't it just like a kidney patient? They tell you, oh, you look great, and you know darn well inside you're not, right?
Right. Well, I am
Mo-
blessed. I actually sometimes forget that I have this issue, which is a blessing in itself. And even my family and friends forget that I have it because I'm still active. You know, I'm still moving around as if things are normal from a medical aspect. So it's a blessing just based from that aspect.
Well, if people could see you, maybe podcasts. We're gonna. I'm gonna. We're gonna move you out somewhere other places like on a show so people can get a look at you. You're an absolute great looking fella, and you got energy, and that's what we really like to see, because a lot of folks that have our problem, have kidney disease, are not blessed like we have been. Me being
Very
transplanted and you looking for a transplant. And that's the main focus here, is that the idea that we're looking for someone out there to donate a kidney to you. We just want to make sure that you have a chance. You have a chance to continue your life, because I know you're doing good things, right? Doesn't
yes,
get you in heaven, but I'll tell you what, it sure makes your life a lot easier, doesn't it?
it certainly does.
Tell me a little bit about your daily activities. And I know you've done a lot of things with the homeless, and
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
So I have to go back to 2001 when I got into the homeless shelter industry, and I started at the bottom. I actually was a job developer, and I was working for a program that was funded through the New York City Mayor's office to assist individuals who were temporarily homeless to help them interview for jobs successfully. So my role as a job developer was to teach resume writing classes, to teach interview classes, and to get people to become confident when they got into a position where they had to interview for a job. And it was very successful. And I did that for the first several years of my career. And then I kind of segued into a leadership role. The organization I was working with at the time, which is the Doe Fund, it's a very prevalent organization here in New York City. And they have not only locations in New York City, but they have in Philadelphia and Atlanta, Georgia, where they reach out to the community
Big
there.
cities. Mm-hmm.
Big cities, right. I was able to get promoted to an assistant director position, where I was in second in command of a program of a new shelter that opened up in Brooklyn, New York, back in 2003. About 2 months after that, I got promoted to a director's position, and I was in charge of that program. And I had a staff. I was about 34 years old. I was pretty young at the time. And from there, my career progressed to a point where not only was I a director of the program, I was a director of social services, where you're responsible to make sure that clients were receiving services properly through case management. I also have experience as a housing specialist. I did that for 9 years, and my sole responsibility was to connect homeless individuals and families to apartments that were available after an individual became eligible for a housing voucher. I did that I moved hundreds of families out doing that. And then I went back to school, got my master's degree in public administration in 2015. And then I ascended to a site director position. For the last 7 years, I was in charge of an entire facility where my sole responsibility was to make sure that all services from different departments, whether it's social services, security, maintenance, to make sure the entire facility was providing services to our homeless population. And I've 20 years later, here I am, still trying to be helpful.
I'll tell you what, that's a resume and a half right there.
Thank you.
That is a resume and a half. Now, when did you find out that you had kidney disease in this course of your activities? When did you find out? How did you find out?
Well, I'm going to go back to 2010. And like I said, I've always been physically fit. I was in a lot better shape when I was younger, as we all were, than I am now.
Yeah, really.
For my age, and I'm 53. And at that time, I was coaching AAU basketball. My son was playing basketball at the time, and I was an assistant coach on the AAU team. We traveled to different parts of the state, and we actually qualified for the AAU Nationals in Orlando, Florida, 3 years in a row, 2010, 2011, 2012. So I would play a very active role in coaching. I would be the referee. So I'd run back and forth, call fouls, and make sure our players were prepared for anything that came their way during an actual game. And I felt my back was painful, you know. At the time, I thought nothing of it. I was in great shape. I figured, you know what? I'll get good night's rest. It'll be no big deal. But
Yep.
year after year passed, and it got to a point where my back pain became unbearable. So on occasion, I would take Tylenol just to ease the pain. Now, in 2011, I met my girlfriend, who became my wife in 2018. We had a very great relationship. We fell in love, and we got married in 2018. But in 2013, she was diagnosed with a cardiovascular heart failure, which she had since she was a child. She didn't discover this issue until she was almost in her late 40s. And then it progressed to a point where in 2019, she suffered a stroke. That was a byproduct of the illness. And I was her caregiver from that point. And she tried to recover from a stroke for about a year. And then it regressed to a point where her health became a problem. I had to put her into a nursing home to get her back to a point where she was able to function.
Sure.
But unfortunately, by the time July of 2020 came, she had to be put in the hospice, and she was put in hospice home where we lived. And I was her caregiver up until she passed away in September 2020. Now, during the time when she became very sick, physically, she wasn't able to move around the way she could. So I was at a point, I was lifting her up, bringing her to the bathroom. I was literally changing her.
Total caregiver.
A home caregiver. And if you have to participate in those activities, you know, it involves lifting. And my back was an issue at that point. So in my mind, you know what? I have to be there for my wife. So you know what? I'm going to start taking these Tylenols on a daily basis, so I didn't have to deal with the back pain. So after my wife passed away, we had a funeral for her and everything else. As anyone knows, if you're a caregiver and if you actually have had the misfortune of burying your spouse, it takes a toll emotionally and physically. So about 2 months after that, I said, you know what? I need to go get a physical. I need to make sure that I'm okay physically and mentally. So I went my physical schedule in November, went to my primary doctor, you know, did everything you're supposed to do. Everything came back normal except for one thing. And I'll never forget, this was the morning of November the 13th, 2020. I was driving to work, and I was in Brooklyn at a red light, and I get a phone call, and it was my primary doctor. And she says, Martin, how are you? I said, I'm fine. I'm on my way to work. Everything's okay? Well, no. Stop what you're doing. Turn around. I need you to get to the hospital right now. I said, what? What's wrong? I don't like the readings I'm looking at regarding your kidneys, and you need to get yourself checked in.
Yep.
Now, mind you, I felt great.
Sure.
Like I said, I was a site director. My focus was I got to get to work, make sure my staff has everything set up for the day. I need to report to my CEO, and business as usual.
With your day. Yeah.
That was my day.
Yeah.
But I said, okay, you know what? Let me follow my doctor's advice, because sometimes the ego takes over. Oh, I'm not going to go today. I'll just wait until I feel like I should go.
Yeah.
I did follow her advice. I checked myself in. 4 days later, they confirmed I had stage 5 kidney disease. Now, the funny thing is, I felt normal. And I was in a room next to a gentleman who had a kidney transplant about 20 years ago. And he was there because I guess he was trying to just do some follow-ups on his situation. And I was in a room with another gentleman who was suffering from breathing issues, which I know is a sign of end-stage renal failure.
Yeah.
So I've got all these dynamics. Meanwhile, I feel normal. I feel no discomfort at all. And I'm trying to process what's being told me. I have kidney disease. I don't understand. They said, well, Mr. Hughes, that is what we're seeing. You need to immediately change your diet. You need to go on what's called a renal diet. I said, what's that? Well, you have to eliminate high sources of sodium in your diet, phosphorus, and potassium. Really? So how do I do that? So obviously they're going to give you guidelines on you when you get discharged. And what diets to follow and things of that nature. At that time, I weighed 220 pounds. I was a workout person. Like I said, the regimen I follow now, I've done since I was about 33 years old. So living a healthy lifestyle, workout wise, was never a challenge. Changing my eating habits was. I love
Yeah.
Italian food. Listen, my family's from the South. I love that type of food.
Yeah.
A lot of foods are not good for you.
Yeah.
And they put on weight, and they're high in sodium, they're high in phosphorus, and they're also not good as far as your caloric intake.
Yeah,
Okay.
you put weight on.
Right. And, and I did it on purpose. So I did immediately adhere to the renal diet. And I went from 220 to about 175 pounds in 4 months. My
Wow.
doctors were shocked. Like, are you kidding? You lost all this weight and you're maintaining? I actually saw a six-pack for the first
really?
time. I couldn't believe it. People thought I looked great, but psychologically, you don't realize that you look this way because I'm so used to being big. I'm thinking I look malnourished. I'm like, oh my God, my clothes don't fit. And also the biggest challenge was making sure you maintain the right amount of calcium, phosphorus, and all the other things you're not supposed to have in your system. So I was able to overcome that challenge. And psychologically, it was also different because someone telling me I had stage 5 kidney disease equated to me like, well, am I going to die in the next couple of months? Is it just going to be where I feel this great discomfort and the lights go out? That was my mindset until I started going to my doctor appointments and they were monitoring me. And mind you, in the beginning, the talk was, well, you know what? You're going to have to go on dialysis. Oh my goodness, I researched that. And a lot of people were telling me, if you go on dialysis, that's really a rough road. You really don't want to go there. So I had a good support system. My ex-wife, who I still have a good relationship with, I have 2 children by her. She was very supportive of my wife who passed away, because I've been married twice. My second wife passed away.
Yeah.
Her best friend, her friends are my best friends who introduced me to her, were very supportive in my journey, and they just encouraged me. And they were the ones that were like, you know what? Just make sure you go to your doctor appointments, listen to what they have to say. If you feel like you can avoid dialysis by eating right and continuing to exercise, do it. So despite what the doctors are telling you, especially the ones who want you to go on dialysis, they're like, you know what, on a month from now, you have to do it. No, we're going to set the appointment. We're going to have everything. We're going to have the catheter set up, and we're going to I said, you know what? Let's just see how things go. I want to make sure that my readings and my and all the things that you read through my blood work remain constant. And sure enough, it went from going each month, then I would go every 3 months. And my readings have been stable for 1.5 years, to a point where I don't need dialysis. I'm still living life the way I need to live it. I've traveled quite because, obviously we're dealing with the pandemic. Thank goodness we're coming to the tail, at least in New York City.
I think we are.
But yes. In other parts of the country, which I have been blessed to travel, I've been to Florida, North Carolina. COVID, the restrictions have not been as restrictive, so I was able to experience that. But ever since I've been able to maintain a healthy diet, been able to work out, thank goodness I've been able to maintain. And I actually have been able to get listed in the state of New York for a kidney donation. I've been on the list since March of 2021. I was able to go to Florida last summer. My daughter went with me as my future caregiver. And I was able to get listed in August of 2021. So I'm listed in 2 states. I did attempt to get listed in Iowa. I did an attempt in Nebraska and North Carolina, but the medical coverage I had from my employer at the time, they didn't take it. But I'm hopeful that that will change, because I took a break from working because the trauma of losing my wife, the employer I was working at, it just reminded me too much of that event. And I took a from that in November. I'm in between assignments. That's the chic way of saying I'm not working right now.
Yeah.
But it's really done me a world of good. But I was only able to take 3 weeks off because had I taken off more time, I would have lost out on income that, of course, we all need in order to pay our bills. So I
Yeah.
didn't have time mentally to really sit back and really process losing my wife. So
Okay.
that
Can I circle back?
you certainly can.
Okay. So got to get ready for dialysis, within a month, and your numbers aren't good and you're in stage 5. Did anyone just take the opportunity, i.e. medical person, to say, why don't you get a transplant? Let's work on getting you a transplant. Was that ever, did anyone approach you with that?
Actually, yes. And I'm glad you brought that up because I left that key component out of my journey. So obviously when Northwell Health is the medical provider that I'm dealing with here in New York.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And I was working with my healthcare provider, and they talked to me about getting a kidney donation. They said, well, you know what? There's 2 ways you can do it. You can go to family. You can see if someone's a match, and they can go through the process, get tested, if they're candidates. The second is we can assist you in finding someone that can donate, but except it more than likely would be someone that's already passed away.
Yeah, be deceased donor.
A deceased donor, where if that person matches up with what you need, then we'll be able to get you a kidney. The only drawback is in the state of New York, that waiting list can be between anywhere between 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely. And that's pretty much nationwide and worse in some places. So, yeah.
Right. In Florida, I came to understand the waiting list can be between 3 to 5 years. Still, the odds are about the same. So that was discussed with me. Now, I did reach out to family on Facebook, and in Messenger, I wrote, I'd say, a 2-paragraph account of my experiences. And in some cases, some people couldn't believe it. Like, are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're on social media, we're bombarded with news every second of the day. And we're at a point where news hits us. We can't process it to a point where, we actually funnel it out of our consciousness because we can't believe that news. Like,
you just set it aside.
Yeah. Until I have to circle back and give the person a call and, hey, listen, I have kidney disease. And like, oh my God, Martin, we'll try to do what we can. We're praying for you. Now, in 3 instances, I had 3 people that stated they would become living donors. My sister, who's 2 years older than me, said she would do it. I had my ex-wife's best friend's husband said he would do something. And I had a lady friend who said she would do it. Now, in the case of my sister, she went through a checkup with her primary. They said, you know what? Because you are at risk as well, because she's 2 years older than me. She also suffers from hypertension. This might be a detriment if you give a kidney up.
Yeah.
That was the issue with my ex-wife's best friend, husband, who he didn't disclose what medical issue he had. He's a little bit younger than me. He's in his late 40s, but that was the same issue.
Yeah.
The person who stated they would try and get tested never followed through.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where you're blessed that someone would say, you know what, I'm willing to put myself in this position to donate, but you don't want to come off like you're pressuring people to do this. It has to be something voluntary.
That's where we come in.
Right. Right. But you know what? And the person who said he was going to follow through and provide the kidney donation but couldn't said, I'm sorry that this happened. I said, you know what? Don't be sorry. This is my journey, and something will come up. I'm going to pray to the Lord. I'm going to continue my health journey, continue to work out, and you know what? We'll see what happens. So I continue to eat right. I continue to keep my mind in a good space. I continue to have the great support from family and friends, and this has helped me overcome the death of my wife, first of all, because that could take someone out mentally.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
It's a hard thing to deal with. And I was able to as a result, I was able to find another relationship out of that.
Yep.
And that's been going on since August. And that happened naturally. I didn't expect it. Yep. And that person's been very supportive as well. So mentally, one of the key components, in addition to eating right and exercising, mentally you have to be in the right frame of mind too.
Get your mind right. Get your
Yeah.
mind right and keep it right. What I was going to say was we always stress the importance of not getting too high and not too low before you know when to get excited is when the stretcher you're on hits the OR door and you're headed in for transplant. That's when you get excited.
Right, exactly.
No need in getting pumped up, no need getting down, because it's going to be the road you're on has bumps in it, but they're not mountain bumps. They're just little dings. You'll
That's
get
correct.
there. You're going to get there. All right. And it's just a matter of staying focused on the prize. And that's what you're going to do. And that's what we're going to help you with. Another thing too, I noticed it in the conversation there or in your discussion that I don't believe you're on dialysis. You're still not on dialysis?
No, just to kind of follow up with that, because I've been able to maintain a healthy weight, I work out, I have still yet to need dialysis. They actually canceled my dialysis appointment back in, I want to say June of 2021.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, we talked about working out. I'm glad that you're an advocate for working out. When I went to my cardiologist, and he said, "So what kind of workout regimen do you have?" I said, "Well, I do anywhere between 400 to 700 push-ups." At that time, I kind of scaled it back a little bit. He almost passed out. And he
4
says,
to 700.
Yes,
I hope people get that number, 4 to 700.
And I do decline push-ups off of my bed, and I have a push-up guide that I actually got off of Amazon, free advertising.
Okay.
So I've been able to do that, and my cardiologist couldn't believe it. He says, "Holy cow, you look great." If I would shave my beard, because I purposely grow it so people remember I am over 50, I'd look about 35, 40 years old. My mother tells me this, and she's 80.
Yeah, well, I can look at you and tell you. I'm vouching for your mom. She don't need no credit, but I'm telling you, you do. And do you actually know what your kidney numbers are, your creatinine and your GFR? Do you know what those are? I don't want to put you on the spot here, but
I can tell you the last one I know was a 5.1, I believe. As far as that, I know that's not in the brain should be, but those numbers have been stable for the last year and a half. They haven't gone up. They haven't gone down, and that's where we are.
So we need to press the point home. Your body adjusts and adjusts until bang, it doesn't adjust anymore. All right. That's just the way it is. I mean, even if you're working out, even if you're doing what you need to be doing, this kidney disease, don't let it surprise you. It's progressive. It moves right on down the road. All right. And what you're doing, you have it at bay. Thank God. But we need a kidney donor. We need to find someone who'll step up and say, "I'm going to help this man. This man needs my help," because he needs to be in the population. He needs to be working really hard at what he's doing, and he can't do it without a healthy kidney. All right.
Yes,
that kidney's out there for you, Mark. It's there. Okay. It's there. We just need that soul to come forward. And that's why we're doing this today. The story that you have is phenomenal, but the journey is not even close to over yet, because you have to get that donor first, then get the transplant, and then take care of it. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that you will take care of it. Okay.
Thank you.
We need to find that donor. God will send him to him. It's on his time. He'll send him to us or her. But I can tell you that we need to turn the covers back and look everywhere we possibly can. Every corner. All right. Every corner we can fill out. Open every door. Ask everybody we can. And that's what we're doing here today, is asking somebody that is thinking about that and listening, would like to, give me a call at Kidney Solutions, 830-285-2140, or go to kidneysolutions.org. That's the most important thing that's going to be taken away here, is your need for a kidney donor, a living kidney donor, because we're not waiting. We've taken that out of our vocabulary. We're not going to wait. We want to do that as quickly as possible. And I'm telling you what, man, you're a great candidate. You're healthy right now, except you got kidney disease, unfortunately, but we'll live with that because we can remedy it. We can't cure it, but we can remedy it with that transplant. And that's what we want to do. Right?
Yes, that for sure. I just wanted to bring this up. The cause of the kidney disease was strictly because I was taking Tylenol every day for a year and a half,
Yes.
realizing that was causing damage to the kidney. So that's one thing I want to point out. Once I was diagnosed in November of 2020, I immediately stopped taking
Yes.
Tylenol. I haven't taken it since that time at all. So I just want to emphasize that as well.
Absolutely. That's great. And we always talk about the NSAIDs and non-steroidals like ibuprofen and those are big kidney killers also.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily taking the Tylenol, it's the amount that you were taking. You probably didn't even realize how much you were taking at the time.
I was taking about maybe 400 milligrams a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So we don't look back. You have kidney damage, and we know that it's not going to repair itself. Okay. Right. And the joy is that you look good, you feel good, you're doing good. But I can tell you, a lot of people deteriorate very quickly. All right.
Right.
Because of the nature of their illness. There are so many different kinds of kidney disease. You have kind of like I don't know what the term for it is, a mechanical one, because it's not something like that's genetic. It's not FSGS. It's from this Tylenol. Okay.
Right.
So all I'm saying here is you're on the right road, brother. We're going to work really hard. I get a lot of people that we work with, and I want to make sure I do this before I forget. We have a support group on Monday nights. You were aware of that? And yes. I want you to come here. I want you to float in there with us. It's just like this. What we're doing right now, it's a Zoom. So 6 o'clock, it'd be 7 o'clock your time. Shannon's there. I'm there. There's a bunch of folks on there that you would be a very inspirational. And we can help you too. It goes both ways.
Great. Okay. I wanted to join it after you and I spoke today. I spoke to Shannon about it. I said I wanted to have this Zoom call so I get a sense of how things go. And I will be on that Zoom call Monday at 7 p.m. next week.
Good. I can't wait. But we'll draw back the curtains and expose everything about you.
Okay.
Yeah, we have between 20 and 17 to 20, 25 people in and out during the night. So, and it's an easygoing thing. So, all right. I think that we've reached a place where we can slow her down a little bit. And maybe if you have anything that you would like to bring up right now, I think you should. I think you should advocate right now for yourself and make a request to the listeners and see if we can maybe draw some real interest here. If there's anything you got to say, please let me know right now.
Well, I tell you, I'd love to have someone step up and donate a kidney. I'm 53 years old. I do have 2 children. My son is 27. My daughter's 25. They don't have children yet. And I would love to know what it's like to experience being a grandparent. So that's something I look forward to doing. I'm not rushing either one of them because having children is a game changer, as we all know, kids. But that's something, that's a goal of mine, is to become a grandparent. The second goal is I would still like to advocate for the homeless situation here in New York City and other locations around the country. My aspiration is to actually open up my own agency. I do have a business partner that I work with in Brooklyn, and we'd like to open our own agency to provide this service to the community as well. Also, too, I'm a huge sports fan. I don't know if you can see behind me.
I see it all.
Yes. I've got some sports jerseys behind me. I'm a big Brooklyn Nets fan. We're not doing that great right now, but let's see how things go in the next couple of weeks.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, there's a few more games to go. I have a nephew who's a Philadelphia 76ers fan, and he loves the fact he just got James Harden from my team. He loves it. And we are aspiring to start a sports podcast. The dynamic is New York fan versus the Philadelphia fan. And if you know that dynamic, there's a lot of rivalries when it comes
yes. Julius Irving.
Oh yeah, and all those great players, and the fact that the New York Nets at the time had to give Julius Erving to the 76ers in order for them to join the NBA. That kind of started the rivalry way back in the 1970s between the two teams.
Yeah.
But the dynamic is my nephew, who I love dearly. I have a sister who lives in Philadelphia. That's her son. We have a strong relationship, and we have a strong affinity for sports. So we figured we bring that aspect to the table, the Philadelphia fan mindset versus the New York fan mindset, and have those discussions on a regular basis.
You do well. You do well with a podcast.
Thank you.
Don't know him, but I can tell you what, your voice is just right. And but you're not like me. In my case, I have a voice for radio, not for TV.
You've got a good voice too. Your presentation is very good too. You make me feel comfortable speaking to you.
Well, listen, we want to make sure that all your dreams come true. So let's just concentrate heavily. I want to encourage you to be focused right now on finding a donor, okay, and getting a transplant. And then I'll be with you all the way. I don't have any desire to leave from this thing till it's done, okay? We know for fact that the transplant's an easy thing because the people that are going to do this to you have done it time in and time out. They don't just do one and then walk down the road and do a gallbladder operation or a bowel. They are all in kidney. So you're in good hands, especially the hospital you're at, which you might want to mention right now.
Certainly. It's Northwell Health, and it's in Manhasset, Long Island, in Nassau County. So I'm working at that medical facility right now.
Plus you have a source in Florida. Also, you're listed at a hospital in Florida for people in Florida.
That's in Orlando, Florida.
Yes. Yes.
So those are the two medical organizations that I'm dealing with.
Okay. And then we want people to call Kidney Solutions, especially potential donors, because we want to make sure that they are well versed with Shannon, who is our donor coordinator. She understands the concept of she's been through it. All right. So she's got all the answers.
She certainly does. And I'll actually, like I said, I listened to the podcast between you and her, and she's actually donated a kidney. Her husband is in the process of doing it.
Exactly.
Her daughter suffered from a kidney disease, and she had to guide her family through that experience. And I really admire her for that, because that takes a strong person to deal with that. Well, and she's have to have another kidney taken care of in the future as well.
Sure. That baby doll, that 18 or 19, she's 18, I guess, is going to end up having to have another transplant at some point.
Right.
And she has an avenue to do that.
Right.
So I just want to leave you with this one thing. Do not turn down a kidney. You hear what I'm saying? Very carefully. If you get a call, have your bags packed and you go, okay, wherever it takes me. And keep me in the loop, please. Always keep me in the loop of what's going on. Or Shannon, either one of us, it's fine. Because we can help you in several ways that you may not even realize right now, and it's too hard to explain, but we're here for you. Kidney Solutions is here for you. It's your family, and we'll be more than happy to help you in any way we can. That being said, you have the right concept for a transplant patient. You take care of yourself. You understand the importance of taking care of yourself, and you're your boss. You are in charge, and that's what it takes for a successful transplant. Okay?
That's for sure. And I thank you and Shannon for this. And from what I understand, that you yourself have received a kidney as well, and you've been healthy for a number of decades, correct?
Yeah, I was
did my research on you.
My brother gives your podcast experience. My brother gave me a kidney on April 30th, 1987. It'll be 35 years this April.
God bless. Wow.
Yeah. So it can be done. It can be done. Yeah, it can be done. And it's not been without trouble. Life is trouble, right? And it's all just how you handle it. But listen, I've had some support. The people I have at Kidney Solutions right now are just amazing. The people that are volunteering, the people on the support group, it's like, for fact that we don't take any payment. We're not charging anything for our services. Everything is free, believe it or not. And I don't take a salary, and no one takes a salary. It all goes back into patient care, and that's what we want. And we're glad to have you as part of this, Martin. Believe me, I am really happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. And this is a blessing. I'm so happy I went to the Facebook Kidney Solutions page and just happened to reach out to you, and you got back to me so fast. That's what I want to emphasize, that if you reach out to Kent on his page, he will respond to you.
It's open 24/7. Now I do shut her down at night so I can try to sleep some, but I guarantee you that you call, you leave a message, I'll get back to you. It's not a problem. And there's never a charge. All right.
Thank you so much.
Martin, let me tell you something. This whole process, you've got it figured out. I just want you to say your prayers, but I want you to remember just one thing: no matter how hard it gets or difficult, don't shy away from talking to your doctor. All right.
I won't.
That doctor is your person to go to. You can talk to me, but I'm going to send you, if you get medical issues, if anything changes with you, you got to stay in touch with that doctor. You got to almost invite him in to live with you, because that person is the one that's going to be the gatekeeper for your care from now on. Okay.
That's for sure.
And we want to make sure that you keep your appointments, do whatever it takes, maintain your activity level, do what you're doing, but have faith that this thing is going to work out. All right. No guarantees, but I'm sure in my heart that it'll work out. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ken. And I look forward to speaking to you on Monday.
Yeah, we're going to do this. All right, folks, listen. These podcasts are meant for one thing, and that for you, not for me, not for Kidney Solutions, but they're for you. And if you want to just go on and listen to them, that's great. Tell people about them. But most importantly, if you have issues with kidney disease, get a hold of us at kidneysolutions.org. Our main emphasis on this whole process is to make sure you're taken care of. All right. We may not have all the answers, but we have so many contacts that do have answers. There's no need to be fearful. There's no need to be challenged, because you don't have to walk this walk by yourself. We are mentors, highly skilled mentors, people who have been through the whole journey. And we're just like you, trying to figure it all out and try to become better. And that's all this is about. It's about you and being better. So until we see you again, keep breathing.